Section 31 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 31. 10-Fingered Mice. When a cake is nicely frosted and it's put away for tea, and it looks as trim and proper as a chocolate cake should be, would it puzzle you at evening, if you brought it from the ledge, to find the chocolate missing from its smooth and shiny edge? As you viewed the cake in sorrow, would you look around and say, "Who's been nibbling in the pantry when he should have been at play?" And if little eyes looked guilty as they hungered for a slice, would you take Dad's explanation that it must have been the mice? Oh, I'm sorry for the household that can keep a frosted cake smooth and perfect through the daytime, for the hearts of them must ache. For it must be very lonely to be living in a house when the pantry's never ravaged by a glad 10-fingered mouse. Though I traveled far past 40, I confess that I, myself, even now will nip a morsel from the good things on the shelf. And I never blame the youngsters who discover chocolate cake for the tiny little samples which exultantly they take. End of Section 31.
Section 32 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Marina Tsung. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 32. The Things They Mustn't Touch. Been down to the art museum and looked at 1,000 things, the bodies of ancient mummies and the treasures of ancient kings, and some of the walls were lovely, but some of the things weren't much, but all had a rail around them, and all wore a sign, "Don't touch." Now, maybe an art museum needs guards and a warning sign, and the hands of the folks should never paw over its treasures fine. But I noticed the rooms were chilly with all the joys they hold, and in spite of the lovely pictures, I'd say that the place is cold. And somehow I got to thinking of many a home I know, which is kept like an art museum, and merely a place for show. They haven't railed off their treasures, or posted up signs or such, but all of the children know it. There's a lot that they mustn't touch. It's hands off the grand piano, keep out of the finest chair, stay out of the stylish parlor, don't run on the shiny stair. You may look at the velvet curtains which hang in the stately hall, but always and ever remember, they are not to be touched at all. Don't touch, for an art museum is proper enough, I know, but my children's feet shall scamper wherever they want to go, and I want no rare possessions or a joy which has cost so much, from which I must bar the children and tell them they mustn't touch. End of Section 32.
Section 33 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Anusha Iyer, Mumbai. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 33. The Harder Part. It's mighty hard for mother. I am busy through the day, and the tasks of every morning keep the gloomy thoughts away. And I am not forever meeting with a slipper or a gown to remind me of our sorrow when I'm toiling in the town. But with mother it is different. There's no minute she is free from the sight of things which tell her of the joy which used to be. She is brave and she is faithful, and we say we're reconciled. But your hearts are always heavy once you've lost a little child, and a man can face his sorrow in a manly sort of way, for his grief must quickly leave him when he's busy through the day. But the mother's lot is harder. She must learn to sing and smile, though she's living in the presence of her sorrow all the while. Through the room where love once waited she must tiptoe day by day. She must see through every window where the baby used to play. And there's not a thing she touches, nor a task she finds to do, but it sets her heart to aching and begins the hurt anew. Oh, a man can turn from sorrow, for his mind is occupied, but the mother's lot is harder. Grief is always at her side. End of section 33. Recording by Anusha Iyer, Mumbai.
Section 34 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 34. Youth. If I had youth, I'd bid the world to try me. I'd answer every challenge to my will. Though mountains stood in silence to defy me, I'd try to make them subject to my skill. I'd keep my dreams and follow where they led me. I'd glory in the hazards which abound. I'd eat the simple fare privations fed me, and gladly make my couch upon the ground. If I had youth, I'd ask no odds of distance, nor wish to tread the known and level ways. I'd want to meet and master strong resistance, and in a worthwhile struggle spend my days. I'd seek the task which calls for full endeavor. I'd feel the thrill of battle in my veins. I'd bear my burden gallantly, and never desert the hills to walk on common plains. If I had youth, no thought of failure lurking beyond tomorrow's dawn should fright my soul. Let failure strike, it still should find me working, with faith that I should someday reach my goal. I'd dice with danger, aye, and glory in it. I'd make high stakes the purpose of my throw. I'd risk for much, and should I fail to win it, I would not even whimper at the blow. If I had youth, no chains of fear should bind me. I'd brave the heights which older men must shun. I'd leave the well-worn lanes of life behind me, and seek to do what men have never done. Rich prizes wait for those who do not waver. The world needs men to battle for the truth. It calls each hour for stronger hearts and braver. This is the age for those who still have youth. End of section 34.
Section 35 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Marina Tsung. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 35. Accomplished Care. All things grow lovely in a little while. The brush of memory paints a canvas fair. The dead face through the ages wears a smile, and glorious becomes accomplished care. There's nothing ugly that can live for long. There's nothing constant in the realm of pain. Right always comes to take the place of wrong. Who suffers much shall find the greater gain. Life has a kindly way, despite its tears and all the burdens which its children bear. It crowns with beauty all the troubled years, and soothes the hurts, and makes their memory fair. Be brave when days are bitter with despair. Be true when you are made to suffer wrong. Life's greatest joy is an accomplished care. There's nothing ugly that can live for long. End of section 35. Section 36 of All That Matters. This is LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Marina Tsung. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 36. Bulb Planting Time. Last night, he said, the dead were dead, and scoffed my faith to scorn. I found him at a tulip bed when I passed by at morn. "Oh ho," said I, "the frost is near, and mist is on the hills, and yet I find you planting here tulips and daffodils." "'Tis time to plant them now," he said, "if they shall bloom in spring." "But every bulb," said I, "seems dead, and such an ugly thing. The pulse of life I cannot feel, the skin is dried and brown. Now look, a bulb beneath my heel I crushed and trampled down." In anger then he said to me, "You've killed a lovely thing, a scarlet blossom that would be some morning in the spring." "Last night a greater sin was thine," to him I slowly said. "You trampled on the dead of mine, and told me they are dead." End of section 36.
Section 37 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 37, His Other Chance. He was down and out, and his pluck was gone, and he said to me in a gloomy way, "I've wasted my chances one by one, and I'm just no good, as the people say. Nothing ahead, and my dreams all dust, though once there was something I might have been. But I wasn't game, and I broke my trust, and I wasn't straight, and I wasn't clean." "You're pretty low down," says I to him, "but nobody's holding you there, my friend. Life is a stream where men sink or swim, and the drifters come to a sorry end. But there's two of you living and breathing still, the fellow you are, and he's tough to see, and another chap, if you've got the will, the man that you still have a chance to be." He laughed with scorn. "Is there two of me? I thought I'd murdered the other one. I once knew a chap that I hoped to be, and he was decent, but now he's gone." "Well," says I, "it may seem to you that life has little of joy in store, but there's always something you still can do, and there's never a man but can try once more. There are always two to the end of time, the fellow we are and the future man. The Lord never meant you should cease to climb, and you can get up if you think you can. The fellow you are is a sorry sight, but you needn't go drifting out to sea. Get hold of yourself and travel right. There's a fellow you still got a chance to be." End of section 37. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio.
Section 38 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Anusha Iyer, Mumbai. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 38. The Family Doctor. I've tried the high-toned specialists who doctor folks today. I've heard the throat man whisper low, "Come on now, let us pray." I've sat in fancy offices and waited long my turn, and paid for 15 minutes what it took a week to earn. But while these scientific men are kindly, one and all. I miss the good old doctor that my mother used to call. The old-time family doctor. Oh, I am sorry that he's gone. He ushered us into the world and knew us every one. He didn't have to ask a lot of questions, for he knew our histories from birth and all the ailments we'd been through. And though as children small we feared the medicines he'd send, the old-time family doctor grew to be our dearest friend. No hour too late, no night too rough for him to heed our call. He knew exactly where to hang his coat up in the hall. He knew exactly where to go, which room upstairs to find the patient he'd been called to see, and saying, "Never mind, I'll run up there myself and see what's causing all the fuss." It seems we grew to look and lean on him as one of us. He had a big and kindly heart, a fine and tender way, and more than once I have wished that I could call him in today. The specialists are clever men and busy men, I know, and haven't time to doctor as they did long years ago. But some day he may come again, the friend that we can call, the good old family doctor, who will love us one and all. End of section 38. Recording by Anusha Iyer, Mumbai.
Section 39 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 39, Denial. I'd like to give 'em all they ask. It hurts to have to answer no, and say they cannot have the things they tell me they are wanting so. Yet now and then they plead for what I know would not be good to give, or what I can't afford to buy, and that's the hardest hour I live. They little know or understand how happy I would be to grant their every wish. Yet there are times it isn't wise, or else I can't. And sometimes, too, I can't explain the reason when they question why their pleadings for some passing joy it is my duty to deny. I only know I'd like to see them smile forever on life's way. I would not have them shed one tear or ever meet a troubled day. And I would be content with life and gladly face each dreary task, if I could always give to them the little treasures that they ask. Sometimes we pray to God above, and ask for joys that are denied. And when he seems to scorn our plea, in bitterness we turn aside. And yet the Father of us all, who sees and knows just what is best, may wish, as often here we wish, that he could grant what we request. End of section 39, recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio.
Section 40 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 40. The Workman's Dream. Today it's dirt and dust and steam. Tomorrow it will be the same. And through it all the soul must dream, and try to play a manly game. Dirt, dust, and steam, and harsh commands, yet many a soft hand passes by, and only thinks he understands the purpose of my task and why. I've seen men shudder just to see me standing at this lathe of mine, and knew somehow they pitied me, but I have never made a whine. For out of all this dirt and dust, and clang and clamor day by day, beyond toil's everlasting must, I see my little ones at play. The hissing steam would drive me mad, if hissing steam was all I heard, but there's a boy who calls me Dad, who daily keeps my courage spurred. And there's a little girl who waits each night for all that I may bring, and I'm the guardian of their fates, which makes this job a wholesome thing. Beyond the dust and dirt and steam, I see a college where he'll go, and when I shall fulfill my dream, more than his father he will know. And she shall be a woman fair, fit for the world to love and trust. I'll give my land a glorious pair out of this place of dirt and dust. End of section 40. Recording by Patty Cunningham.
Section 41 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 41. The Homely Man. Looks as though a cyclone hit him, can't buy clothes that seem to fit him, and his cheeks are rough like leather, made for standin' any weather. Outwards he was fashioned plainly, loose o' joint and blamed ungainly, but I'd give a lot if I'd been prepared so fine inside. Best thing I can tell you of him is the way the children love him. Now and then I get to thinkin' he is much like old Abe Lincoln, homely like a gargoyle graven, and looks worse when he's unshaven. But I'd take his ugly phiz just to have a heart like his. I ain't over sentimental, but old Blake is so blamed gentle and so thoughtful like of others, he reminds us of our mothers. Rough roads he is always smoothin', and his way is oh so soothin' that he takes away the sting when your heart is sorrowing. Children gather round about him like they can't get on without him, and the old depend upon him, pilin' all their burdens on him, like as though the thing that grieves 'em has been lifted when he leaves 'em. Homely? That can't be denied. But he's glorious inside. End of section 41. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio.
Section 42 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 42.
Mothers never change, I guess, in their tender thoughtfulness. Makes no difference that you grow up to 40 years or so. Once you cough, you'll find that she sees you as you used to be, and she wants to tell to you all the things that you must do. Just show symptoms of a cold, she'll forget that you've grown old. Though there's silver in your hair, still you need a mother's care. And she'll ask you things like these. You still wearing BVDs? Summer days have long since gone. You should have your flannels on. Grown and married and, maybe, father of a family. But to mother you are still just her boy when you are ill. Just the lad that used to need plasters made of mustard seed. And she thinks she has to see that you get your flaxseed tea. Mothers never change, I guess, in their tender thoughtfulness. All her gentle long life through she is bent on nursing you, and although you may be grown, she still claims you for her own, and to her you'll always be just a youngster at her knee.
End of section 42. Section 43 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Wooly B. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest, Section 43. Life is a jest, take the delight of it. Laughter is best, sing through the night of it. Swiftly the tear and the hurt and the ache of it find us down here. Life must be what we make of it. Life is a song, let us dance to the thrill of it. Grief's hours are long and cold is the chill of it. Joy is man's need, let us smile for the sake of it. This be our creed, life must be what we make of it. Life is a soul, the virtue and vice of it. Strife for a goal, and man's strength is the price of it. Your life and mine, the bare bread and the cake of it, end in this line, life must be what we make of it. End of section 43.
Section 44 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Anusha Iyer, Mumbai. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 44. Success. This I would claim for my success. Not fame, nor gold, nor the throng's changing cheers from day to day. Not always ease and fortune's glad display, though all of these are pleasant joys to hold. But I would like to have my story told by smiling friends with whom I've shared the way, who, thinking of me, nod their heads and say, "His heart was warm when other hearts were cold." None turned to him for aid and found it not. His eyes were never blind to man's distress. Youth and old age he lived, nor once forgot the anguish and the ache of loneliness. His name was free from stain or shameful blot, and in his friendship men found happiness. End of section 44. Recording by Anusha Iyer, Mumbai. Section 45 of All That Matters. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Anusha Iyer, Mumbai. All That Matters by Edgar A. Guest. Section 45. The Lonely Old Fellow. The roses are bedded for winter, the tulips are planted for spring. The robins and martins have left us, there are only the sparrows to sing. The garden seems solemnly silent, awaiting its blankets of snow, and I feel like a lonely old fellow with nowhere to turn or to go. All summer I've hovered about them, all summer they've nodded at me. I've wandered and waited among them the first pink of blossom to see. I've known them and loved them and caressed them, and now all their splendor has fled, and the harsh winds of winter all tell me the friends of my garden are dead. I'm a lonely old fellow, that's certain, all winter with nothing to do but sit by the window recalling the days when my skies were all blue. But my heart is not given to sorrow, and never my lips shall complain, for winter shall pass, and the sunshine shall give me my roses again. And so for the friends that have vanished, the friends that they tell me are dead, who have travelled the road to God's acres and sleep where the willows are spread, they have left me a lonely old fellow to sit here and dream by the pane. But I know, like the friends of my garden, we shall all meet together again. End of section 45, recorded by Anusha Iyer, Mumbai.